Alright, hello everyone, and let's talk about VHS. This game is a game that I have learned about relatively recently after the few weeks of seeing things come out for it and reading everything that I could about it, hanging out in their Discord, watching every video that they've made multiple times. I am ready to give my thoughts about it and tell you why I believe that this game is going to be big. Maybe not humongous, maybe not gargantuan, but it's gonna be an important game. I have a feeling about it. Alright, so for the however many people that watch this and have no idea what the game is, I will describe it. The game is a 1v4 game in which you have one monster versus 4 teens. The 4 teens have to go around the map and find workshops and crafting stations that they can build weapons at. There are 4 different types of weapons you can build. You can build a fire, electric, curse, or bless weapon. You have to hit the monster with each one of the types of damage. Once you do that, the monster dies. The monster has to go and kill the teens and prevent themselves from dying. So, what about this game makes me feel like it's gonna be important? What makes it different from all of the other games that have come out, tried to challenge Dead by Daylight and its crowning, its reign of terror across the entire asymmetrical genre? Well, for starters, VHS is going to be free. It is going to be entirely free to play. It's going to come out first on Steam and the Epic Game Store, and also Allbent Games' own launcher. But it's going to be entirely free to play. So this opens it up to being played by a whole bunch of people that do not have the money to put into Dead by Daylight. The people that have stayed with Dead by Daylight for an extended period of time, such as myself, we have sunk probably hundreds of dollars into the game. But we're the outliers, I'd say. We're not super outliery, but we're not usual. The usual players are like, I don't know, imagine yourself 5 or 10 years ago when you were, 10, maybe 8, and you first got your own computer, or you started playing on your parents, and you wanted to find a game to play. You heard about this platform called Steam, and it has loads of games to play. What are the first ones that you look at? You look at the free ones, because you don't have any money to spend. And that's really where the game is aimed at. It's for the people that don't have the hundreds of dollars, or even just like the $5 to throw at DVD when it has a sale. So with it being free, we're gonna have, I imagine, it's gonna have a very large player base, at least for a while. I have no idea what the developers plan to do with the game, but with it being free, it is going to attract a lot of players that all of the other asymmetrical games that have come out in the past. Last year, it was $30 on launch. Hide or Die, it was also $30 on launch. Death Garden, I'm pretty sure it was also $30 on launch. So those games, we don't view them as very expensive. But to a lot of younger audiences, that is a lot of money to put on to a game that you're not even sure if you're gonna like. The VHS completely negates that issue. Now, with me watching all of the videos about it, I have seen gameplay, I have seen the developers answer a bunch of questions, and I have a fairly extensive knowledge about the entire game, or at least a lot about how it works and how the systems will behave. And the way that I see it, the game has been in development for over 3.5 years. They have taken those 3.5 years and have perfected their formula. They've taken bits from certain games, they've fixed bits from others, they've removed some of the things that people really didn't like, and they've taken some of the things from other games that people have really liked. For starters, there's a point system, there's a perk system, there's a prize system, which is like the offerings from Dead by Daylight. There's they call them videos or movies that are like the archive challenges. They have extremely extensive cosmetic options that you can have for your characters. And like, they just took all of the systems that people really like and have put them in and have sort of, I don't know, refined them so that people will enjoy them more than the systems that are in place in other games. Me comparing it to Dead by Daylight, because it's really the only comparison we have. The whole systems are put into place, there's a bunch of challenges, there's a bunch of cosmetics. They're planning on adding in the battle pass, because of course they need to add the battle pass. I'm not against it, but I'm not really for it either. And, you know, they've just been doing like everything right. So, I guess I should get into the gameplay of the game and why I think it's going to be solid, maybe not competition, but it's gonna be something that catches players. So, obviously, comparison to Dead by Daylight. In Dead by Daylight, you have a killer and 4 survivors, and the 4 survivors are trying to escape. Well, in VHS, you don't really get to escape. You either kill the monster, or you die trying. You have to confront the monster in order to win the game. You have to hit them with the weapons to get rid of their, I don't know, you have to hit them with the weapons in order to get rid of their stigma, or you use the stigmas on them. I don't know the terminology, but you have to hit them with the weapons. So to do that, you have to hit them, and to hit them, you have to see them. So you can't just run and hide the entire game. You have to actually, like, go up to the monster and, like, slap him. Well, not really slap him, but you know what I mean. So, there has not really been another game in the genre ever where you had to hit the monster. The closest we can really get to is maybe like, I don't know, last year? Well, I guess there was Evolve, and that was its whole thing, but Evolve died out, and that was a very long time ago. However, that's probably the closest one is Evolve, where you had to go off and kill the monster. But the closest one in recent memory has been last year, and with last year, it was sort of a mechanic where you had to hit the monster, but not really. You could run away from them, and hitting them was just kind of, like, better than running away. But you could still run away, and you had plenty of tools to help you run away. In VHS, the only thing, unless if there's other perks, because I have no idea what any of the perks do, all that I know is that there's slight bonuses, and I want to get to that point later. The only thing that I know of that will directly help you run away is a soda can. And that's it. And it's like maybe a sprint burst. Like maybe. And it's a one-time use thing. And you have to go out and search for it. Like, that's it. You don't have any other tools to run away. You have weapons. But the weapons are meant to, you know, hit the killer with. Or hit the monster with. So, you can use them to run away, but it's not their intended purpose. That's their secondary purpose. So, that whole kind of you needing to go and confront the monster in order to win, it's something that hasn't really been done before, except for maybe Evolve, and that had its own issues. This system has been refined and not quite perfected, but it's definitely been polished. So it's a very fun an engaging system. The main draw of this game that some people, when they pick it up and try to play it, like Dead by Daylight, they will probably get frustrated if they don't change the way that they think. Because in VHS, the all-powerful killer really isn't all-powerful. They're a monster. They have power, but if you just run in mindlessly, you're gonna die. Because the whole game is balanced around people communicating. And if they communicate and say, hey, I'm running away, I'm going to be in this room in 5 seconds, come to that room with a weapon, and then you lead the monster there, the monster is going to get torn to shreds by the other 3 teammates that are going to be ready with all of their weapons drawn. So you can't play it like a mindless killer that just runs around and chases whatever is in front of them. You have to be engaged with what the situation is. You have to go, okay, I've left so many people alone for so much time. They could have a weapon. I need to take it slow and methodically. And in VHS, you have the option to take it slow and methodically. In Dead by Daylight, you can't. Or you usually can't. If you do, you're gonna take too much time. The survivors are gonna do all the generators, and then they're just gonna leave. In VHS, going slow and methodically is how you stay alive. And as a monster, if you stay alive the entire game, you win. That's just how it is. If you stay alive, you win. If you die, you lose. The win condition is very set in stone, which is very different from what Dead by Daylight has been. So on the matter of perks, let me get on to that before the video drags on too long. Nobody's probably watching at this point. But perks. The main issue that a lot of people have with perks in Dead by Daylight is they're basically the survivor's power. It's the perks. So when you get to that really high level of play, not the competitive level of play, but just a moderately high level of play, you will find yourself, if you're playing killer, that you won't really feel like you're losing because of the survivors. You'll usually feel like you're losing between like one of 3 factors. 1, the map, 2, like bugs and stuff, and 3, perks. Because the perks in Dead by Daylight are just so powerful, to the point of where Otstarva has mentioned that the existence of perks changes the way people play. Literally just the perk being in the game has an effect on the way the game is played. And the easiest way to basically put that into an example is if DS was disabled for a week, and Borrowed Time was disabled for a week, and Unbreakable was disabled for a week. If those 3 things were disabled at the same time, killers would hit people off of hooks, killers would slug people, and killers would tunnel people. Because they no longer have the risk of their actions being punished. Because the perk doesn't exist anymore. So just the perks existing changes the way that you play, because if you try to do the things like slug or camp or hit off of hook or tunnel, you're gonna get punished because you don't know if they have the perk until they use it. So it's always in the back of your mind, and it's a smart thing to do as killer, but it just shows how powerful the perks are in the game. In VHS, you don't have those perks. The perks are just slight bonuses, where you're not, like, as far as I know, unless if there's some other perks that we haven't heard about, you're not really gonna know what perks people are running, because they're just slight bonuses. You can be like, you know, maybe they have this, but they might just be communicating well. So with that, you're not gonna have the situations where you feel like you're just fighting perks. You're fighting people, and the people have to be of a better skill level than you are in order to beat you. So all of this really combines into, you have a game that is free, that has a bunch of, you know, really good asymmetrical mechanics put into it. It has a bunch of polish. A bunch of the people that played it already have said they haven't really encountered bugs at all. It has perks that don't really affect the game too much, so you never feel like when you lose, you're losing to something that you can't prevent. So it leads to you feeling like the game is more fair, because any time that you start losing or you take damage, you can be like, this is why I took damage, and if I did something different, I could have prevented it. It leads to all of these different things combining into a package that I really don't see that many faults in. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about it, and that's why it's taken so long for me to put my thoughts into words. This entire video has been unscripted because I just wanted to get something out about it before, you know, it gets too late. And from all of the stuff that I've seen, I can't fault the game at any point. And that's super weird to me. Like, I would think the game would be, like, bad in some reason, and the only thing I can think of that's maybe a negative to it is it's not going to be out on console when it first releases. But if we're going to compare that to Dead by Daylight, Dead by Daylight wasn't out on consoles for about a year after it was released. It was only on Steam. So it's looking to be a very good base of a game with such insane potential. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description to sign up for their beta, and I really think you should. It's gonna be free, and take it from me, I think there's something very special here. Like, I have been excited for other asymmetrical games in the past, but I have kind of felt like this is gonna be neat, but if something goes wrong, it can go downhill very quickly. With this game, I can't really find that thing that could go wrong. I mean, it has opportunities, but so much would have to go wrong for this thing to go poorly. So I'm willing to hedge my bets that this is gonna be a very successful, like, game for, I have no idea how long. I hope for pretty long, and I hope it's able to grow. And I don't want it to kill DBD, I want them to live alongside each other. So when one of them does something better than the other, they can kind of take the advice and improve together. So I hope they can coexist. But would I mind DBD losing some players? Not really. So that's all I'm gonna have for this video, because I've already been going for about, you know, like 20 minutes, maybe like 19 minutes, depending on how I edit it. But please, just give this game a chance. That's the only thing that I'm asking. I'll probably make a follow-up video to this to go into some specifics. If you have any questions about the game, I am just overflowing with knowledge, and I wish to share it with anyone who has any questions. Leave them in the comments below, and if I get enough of people asking the same questions, I will make another video answering them. So that's all for now, and I will see you in the next video.